All right, all right. Let's try that one more time. Welcome back, everybody. If you were live with me, let me know that you are here. I'm not sure what happened on that first stream, but we are starting again. So, hey, listen, if you are joining us live for this Fight Back series, I'd love for you to tag someone and have them join you. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see if I can. Next series, I'd love for you to tag someone. Okay, that's me talking. All right, so I'm going through it. So tag someone and invite them to join you in this series. I'm super duper excited, and clearly there's something I got to say because the stream got cut off unexpectedly, but I'm back. So welcome to Fight Back Part 2, where we are talking about how to break free from the soft life. Like, now, if you joined us for Part 1, you know we talked about the dangers of the soft life, but today I want to share with you how to break free from the ramifications of the soft life, and we're going to uncover how you can pursue la 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 la. Okay.
First, you have to tell me where you are. In Security and Privacy Settings, choose the Privacy tab. Under Location Services, check Enable Location Services and Siri and Dictation.
Siri, be quiet. This is going to be good. Because I never get tongue-tied live. But, it's all good. Here it is. So welcome back to our Fight Back series today on Part 2, where we're going to talk about how to break free from the ramifications of the soft life. I am going to go deeper on what we started in Part 1. In Part 1, we uncovered how the pursuit of comfort and ease can keep you stuck and settling for less than God's best for your life. And we went a little deep in that on what comfort was and what ease really means. So if you missed Part 1, go back and watch Part 1, but stick around for today. It's okay. You're not too late to the party. I'm going to catch you up, and this is going to help you today. And just make sure you bookmark and go back to look at Part 1. Now, listen, today we're going to go a little bit further, and we're going to talk about what it takes to break free from the ramifications and the consequences of adopting the soft life so that we can step boldly into the life we were designed to live, a life of purpose, passion, and yes, prosperity. If you're with me a few moments when I first started our conversation, I talked about how I was wrestling back and forth about having this conversation and using the language prosperity because of the bad reputation the word has received. And when I thought about it, I think about, the gross judgment that comes against the prosperity culture and prosperity gospel, and how when you use the word, there's a connotation that's immediately negative and thought to be all about materialism. And then I said, why do we do that? I posed the question, why do we do that? Why do we as believers allow culture to define words for us? It's as if because this has been adopted by so many, it's like they have a monopoly on specific words. And so we don't ever say those words because we don't want to be associated with what others have defined those words as. Prosperity is one of those words. And what I shared is prosperity was God's idea first. It was his idea. Like if we look at scripture, Jesus said himself, God in the flesh, in John chapter 10, verse 10, the thief comes but to steal, kill, and destroy. But I have come that you may have life and life more abundantly. And when you look up those words, abundantly, overflow, in excess, more than enough. But it wasn't just in stuff. He said, I want you to have an abundant life, a life that is purposeful, a life that is fulfilling, a life that is rich, a life that has more than enough of what you need. And when I broke those words down in the Greek in which it was originally written, the word life there, Zoe, means vigor, full of physical strength and good health. Jesus said, I come that you would have a life that has physical strength and good health. God wants you to be healthy. Number 2, we break that word down. It's a word that says vitality, that's real and genuine, not counterfeit. So Jesus himself came God clothed himself in flesh and came in the form of Jesus so that you can have a genuine, real, not counterfeit or fake life of physical strength and vitality, and that you have more than enough of everything you need to sustain it. What? Talk about prosperity. Okay, so today we're going to talk about what's required to break free from the thing that's keeping us from that. And I believe one thing that's keeping us from it is this idea of the soft life, or in other words, comfort culture. And so when we embrace comfort culture instead of God's grace, in order to navigate through seasons of transition, seasons of elevation, tough seasons, then we don't reap the full benefits he designed for us. But before we dive in, I want you to drop in the chat if you caught part 1 of this series, and let me know what you thought about it. Like, yes, girl, I heard it. Tell me what you thought. Drop in the chat what you thought, and then let me know where you're listening in from. And if you're new, it's okay. Tag a girlfriend or 7 who you know need to hear this. If you're listening at the audio on the podcast, welcome. I'm excited. Take a moment and share this podcast out with as many women as possible who you know need to break free from the secret things that are subtly stealing and sucking their strength and their ability to move forward. They don't even know because they're doing great in other areas of their life, but they're not quite at the place of passion, purpose, and prosperity in every aspect of their life, because this podcast, this episode is absolutely going to help them. Now listen, if you're new to me, I'm Janice Anderson, and I get the awesome opportunity to coach and mentor high-performing Christian women as they're navigating seasons of transition, setback, and even seasons of growth. And together, we break free from the limitations that are keeping them back, and I help them to position themselves and their lives so they can reclaim a life of leadership, a life of legacy, and a life of alignment. Because we believe here in the Significant Life community that when you live an aligned life, a life where your vision, your values, and your action are all in sync and synchronized together, that you are indeed living a significant life, and that life is fully alive. Y'all, let me tell y'all what that is again. A life where your vision, your values, and your actions are in sync. They are synchronized. They are aligned and not competing. That is when you're living fully alive. Listen, by the end of today's session, I will have you equipped to recognize how comfort culture and the soft life has been holding you back. And then I'm going to make sure that you're equipped with skills and strategies so that you can move forward and, number 1, reclaim your strength, embrace and enforce the grace that is available to you, and move with authority toward that is already yours. Now, if you are already excited and you know that's what I need, girl, stay with me. I'm going to show you how to elevate higher with support and mentorship of the community of committed women just like you who want to see you thrive in every aspect of your significant life journey. Listen, in part 1, we talked about how so many of us, myself included, can get sucked into this idea of ease and comfort, thinking that, this is God. This is what it looks like. Because if it's God, it's not supposed to be hard. I don't have to work. I shouldn't have to work this hard for it. And some of we realize that maybe you don't think I shouldn't have to work this hard. You're saying, no, if this is God, I'm waiting on him. I'm waiting on him before I make my next move. I know this is not real good. I know this is not where I wanted to be, but I need God to give me the green light. I need God to I'm just waiting on God, sis. I'm just waiting on him to just tell me what's the next thing. Lord, reveal to me what you want me to do. I mean, that's some of you, right? I know. And in part 1, when we talked about comfort, we briefly touched on it, but I didn't talk about this part of it. The conversations I often hear is, girl, I'm just waiting on, the Lord if he can just move. When the truth is, if we had the courage to own that we are frustrated, unsatisfied, and tired of settling for what is familiar, because if we're telling the truth, it ain't all that comfortable. I won't tell nobody. I won't tell nobody it ain't comfortable. It's just It's just the pain I know. Can we just take a deep breath on that? I know. I said it so you didn't have to. A lot of times when we're trying to shift out of our comfort zone, it's not that the zone is even comfortable. The zone is familiar. And stepping out of a place of familiarity and doing something doesn't necessarily mean you got to do something new. Oftentimes when I see women needing to break free from this place of comfort and this place of familiarity, it's not a new thing that they're wrestling against trying. It's not this new venture that they're struggling to step out into. Sometimes breaking free, ladies, from the comfort culture and that soft life also means doing the thing that you tried once before and failed at. Yeah, sometimes I hear you and I see you. I see you clutching your pearls like, hold on. Did you say what? I don't know if you're anything like me. I remember once I was in this conference and we were talking about, where's the time when you distance yourself from God? When do you find yourself distancing from the Lord? He's telling you to do something. He's moving you into something. You feel that there's like a chasm between he and you. Where does that often show up for you? Now, for me, I'm like, I'm not distancing myself from God. Like, yeah, no, not me. I'm not in no act of sin. I read my Bible. I'm checking all the boxes. Me and God, we like this. I'm not distancing myself. You run the check. Am I harboring any bitterness or any anger? Am I harboring any resentment? Am I in any act of sin? I ain't fornicating. I ain't stealing. I ain't lying. I ain't being mean. Y'all know. Come on, ladies, be honest with me. You run yourself through the check and you're like, no, so I'm not distancing myself from God. We're really good. And then I just kind of settled in because I knew for that question to be coming up for me, it obviously was something Holy Spirit was asking me. The person who was leading the conference, she thought she was asking a question, but I knew Holy Spirit was using her to get to me. And I needed to ask that question because he was asking a question that he already knew the answer to, but he wanted me to awaken to the truth of that. And when I asked myself, in what ways am I distancing myself from God? The answer that came out of my mouth shook me because I found that I distance myself from God often when facing familiar pain. Like if it's something we never did before, I'm your girl, God. Come on, God, you know what? This scary. We ain't never did this before, God, but you know what? I'm with you. If you said, go ahead, go on over there, go talk to that person, submit that proposal, have that conversation. I know this was your idea because clearly I would have never came up with this idea because we've never done this before. I'm there. That ain't where I distance myself from God. No. I find myself in seasons of transition, in tough seasons, and seasons of elevation that I distance myself from God when facing familiar pain. God, we tried this before. And you remember the last time we did this? That wasn't good. Like, what you don't mean that. You say it again because you did not mean go and have that conversation. You mean you want to tell me to go over there and say what? I already hear you. I hear you like, nah, Janice, do something I already tried before. You mean to break free out of my comfort zone, to break free out of this soft life and the ramifications of the soft life, that I got to do something that I've already done before and it didn't work? Some of y'all are like, she's blasphemous. She got to be crazy. And if we were face to face, you'd probably say something like this: Janice, I hear you, but you don't know my story. Yeah, okay, but I got to kind of push back on you a little bit because I already tried that and I already know how this going to end up. So or maybe you saying something like this. My favorite line is, I hear you, but you don't know my story. I hear you, but you don't know my husband. I hear you, but you don't know my boss. That's my favorite line. I've heard all these things before from my clients. They say the same things. I hear you, but, and you don't know my, and you fill in the blank. And these are all things my clients have said when I'm sharing with them the same things that I'm sharing with you, because breaking free out of comfort and familiarity sometimes means you got to let go of I promised myself I'd never, ever, 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 ever let a man get that close to me again. Oh, I said that one. Listen, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Or maybe this one. Listen, I tried that. It didn't work for me. I know that works for some people, but that don't work for me. That ain't gonna work for me. That ain't gonna work for my industry. If it was supposed to work, it would have already worked right now. Have you said any of those things? When you feel the pull and the tug to try something again that you had tried once before? Personally, I often hear these statements. Can we just go ahead and call these statements what they are? I often hear these agreements when it comes to matters of the heart. Because most often, ladies, it's with matters of the heart where the stakes are the highest. And I've learned in my own life, and as I've helped other women navigate their life, that when the stakes are high, the risk must be higher. And therefore, the source of your strength, the source of your reward must be the highest source. So here's the truth that I want you to know. Breaking free from the soft life and the comfort culture that we all live in is not about rejecting the comfort. It's not about that. It's not, no, it's comfortable, I don't want it. But it actually is about exercising courage and embracing and enforcing the grace that God has already equipped you with. It is the only way for you to step boldly and powerfully into what is next for you. So let's dive in to what breaking free actually looks like. Breaking free of the comfort culture and the soft life means you have to recognize what is costing you to stay comfortable. What is costing you to hang out in familiarity? We become so numb to the cost. We don't even want to acknowledge the cost. So in part one, we discussed that the soft life and the mindset that comes with it often looks like choosing comfort over what I'm called to do. You know, this is more, I don't want to ruffle no feathers, so I'm just going to kind of hover right here. I don't want to be the bad guy, so I'm just going to kind of do this right here. I don't want them to think this about me. But what we didn't talk about was the true cost of staying comfortable and staying in a space that keeps you from living fully in the place of transformation and elevation that the Lord has called you to live in. And that's not just about making other people feel good. It's not even about missing out on opportunities. It's not even about that because, we serve the God who redeems time. He can redeem the time. He's God. He's God of time. He lives in eternity, so he can make an opportunity come back around or create a new one for you. The true cost is you miss out on the woman that you are designed to become. So I have a client, and we're just going to call her, for the sake of our time together, Sherry. And Sherry is an amazingly powerful woman. Everyone that meets her, even if they don't acknowledge it, they feel her power. She causes atmospheres to shift with her presence, and don't let her talk. When she opens her mouth, the wisdom that oozes from her mouth, the wisdom and the strategy that flows so effortlessly, really transforms rooms and people quickly. It's like it is literally beautiful and almost like magical to watch. It is so divine. Well, Sherry, she went through this messy, mean, and drawn-out divorce. And she had decided that, dating ain't for me, at least for a few seasons. And so she was like, if I go out and entertain a man in this season of my life, marriage is not on the table. I get it. For her, it was her me season, and she was focusing on her heart work, and she was focusing on her health, and she's focusing on her bank account, because like it or not, divorce leaves damages, y'all. And in the middle of her me season, homegirl ran smack into one of those agreements being challenged. Those agreements I talked about, because I ain't gonna never. Because the next time, I ain't gonna let no man get this close to me. Y'all know those agreements? See, love, not lust, okay, maybe a little bit of lust, was knocking at her door. And it had none of the strings attached. It had all the things she prayed for, all of the things she secretly longed for, all of the things that she was missing and she needed but didn't even know she needed. Kindness was at the door. Care was at the door. Compassion. A prioritization of God over her. And then a prioritization of God on her behalf. It was throwing her off. So when we were having our conversation, she came to her coaching call and we were talking about it because she is in this place and she's like, wait. This don't make no sense. Because like with all of these things, the care, the compassion, the kindness, also came this invitation for commitment and an expression of an intent that was beyond dating. And I could tell something was troubling her, and I was like, "What's going on? I mean, what's like level with me, and tell me what's going on. Where do you sense the Lord speaking to you in this hour? Because your face is telling me something that you ain't communicating with your mouth. What is it?" And she was baffled, and we were talking about it, and she was like, "I don't know why the Lord playing with me like that. Why would He be doing this to me? And I don't really know if the enemy is trying to trick me." Y'all ever had those moments when you're like, "This can't be God because I already told Him this ain't what I want. This got to be a trick from the enemy because it feels like a setup." You ever felt like that? It got to be a setup. It got to be a setup because I ain't even ready yet. It has to be a setup because this does not go along with my plan. My plan was to do this, and now this is trying to throw me off track. You ever been in those places and spaces in your life where something comes and it throws a curveball into what you believe that God has for you in the season that you're in, and is shaking things up so much so it has to be the enemy because God wouldn't do you like that? That's what my client Sherry was facing. And I was like, see, now one, this is why community is really important. And this is why being in covenant relationship with someone who has a relationship with God and has a sensitivity to His voice and His spirit and His way and His character, and who has nothing to lose or gain by your success, so they can give it to you straight and they can hear Him and serve as a conduit of your healing, your progression, and your next step, your progress. Because right now she could have just shrunk into what's familiar. Girl, no, he's just playing games. And listen, if I wasn't healed in my own heart regarding men, if I wasn't healed in my own heart regarding my perspective, if I wasn't healed in my own heart regarding control, then I wouldn't be able to see, oh, this look just like God right here, girl. This look like an opportunity. This look like an invitation. This look like one of them divine invitations to trust God on the level that you hadn't yet trusted Him before. And so when I noticed, the more and more sessions that we had, the more she opened up that this was a divine invitation from God in the very same place that she trusted Him once before, to trust Him again. I also saw that this was an invitation for a deeper level of healing in a place where she had severe wounding. Y'all know those agreements that we made? They sound real cute. They're cute sayings and statements, fool me once, shame on you, fool, shame on me. Yeah, fool me. You're not a fool. You don't have to embody shame or the perspective that you are wrong and you've done something wrong because you trusted someone and it went left. That's such a trick of the enemy. It's a beautiful thing to embody a heart that trusts. Jesus says like this, come to me like a little child. That is a child just trusts. And a child trusts blindly and completely and wholeheartedly. It's not shaming, but society has you doing that. Well, I would never, ever. And the very thing that you would never do, the very thing that you swear you would never do, that agreement in and of itself is literally rejecting and keeping you back from possibly God's absolute best for your heart, your life, and your future. So here she was presented with the opportunity to rewrite her story, to allow her heart to heal in a deep way. Because y'all know our hearts heal in relationship with others. Y'all know that, right? Just like our wounds are exposed and also often experienced in relationship with others, our hearts are healed in relationship with others. And here she has an opportunity to heal her heart and to reap the benefits of her previous healing, and also to open up an opportunity for someone else to experience the love of God through her. But in order for her to do that, she had to break every agreement she'd made to protect herself. Because that's the truth. part of, getting out of, breaking free from the soft life and its ramifications is coming out of agreement with every agreement that we've made, every statement that we made, every declaration of our heart, our mind, our spirit, our soul, and our way of being that we've made that is contrary to what God's design is in an effort to protect ourselves. That's the only reason why we make those agreements. Not because they're cute. I mean, they do sound cute and they sound snappy and snazzy, but the core of it is I'm trying to protect myself. And then we have to invite and accept God's divine protection. This ain't about trusting homeboy who know what to say and when to say it. This was not about him. This ain't about him at all. This is about trusting up. And when I trust up, then I have the courage to trust out. And then number 3, this is about courageously stepping into what is possible and leaving what's familiar. In order to break out of that place of comfort and familiarity, you have to choose to break every agreement that you have made in an effort to protect yourself from harm. Number 2, invite and accept God's divine protection. And number 3, courageously step out of what's familiar and into what is possible. I know. It's not cute. It's not cutesy. It is very mindful, and it's not always demure. Because when we do that, in order for us to do that, sometimes we have to re-enter into a place that was once a painful space for us. But in that place this time, we have the grace of God. I want to talk a little bit about grace, and I'm going to do another episode about that in full, because it's a place where many of us get tripped up. Oftentimes we don't know really what God's grace is, and because we don't know what it is, we say it very flippantly, and we don't understand the fullness of the ramifications of it. Paul was talking, I believe it's in, I wrote it down so I wouldn't misquote it, 2 Corinthians 12:9. He had said, "Again, I asked the Lord about it, to which he replied, 'My grace is sufficient in weakness.'" His grace, his divine influence. I was talking with my coach earlier today, and she shared with me what her pastor said about grace. We were having this conversation, and she said that her pastor quotes grace as this: God's sovereign, divine ability to get the job done on my behalf. Y'all, if God's grace is sufficient, it means I can't do it on my own. If God is endowing me with his divine influence, his divine advantage, if he's given me his sovereignty and his divine ability, it means that my human capability is not enough to get this done. And so when we are doing things in our own strength, I'm not going to say nothing, because the last time I said something, all hell broke loose. I'm just going to let God handle this. I ain't even going to step up. No, you're going to step up and let God deal with the response. You're going to step up and say what needs to be said and allow God to deal with all the other things. So many of us, we shrink back. I ain't going to love. If God want me to get a man, he going to have to bring him to my door. It's going to be the UPS guy, the Amazon guy, or Uber Eats, or Instacart. How you going to, listen, no, you're going to have to put yourself out there. You're going to have to take some steps and say, God, if this is you, you're going to have to heal my heart, heal my mind, heal my ability to see. And those people's, the person who you call for me's ability to see me, let me receive it if it don't fit my formula. Listen, comfort will have you stuck. Comfort will have you putting up with hardship that God didn't design for you to put up with. And it's not even that this is comfortable. It's just familiar for me. I know it. I'm looking today at Sherry's life as she's navigating love again. And I'm watching her blush when she talks. And she's in not my me season, but my man season. I mean, we get on our calls, and it is a bright light that shines from her. And it's all because she made a courageous decision to trust God again. And what he's doing, even in this relationship, is exposing places where he wants to heal her heart even further. And it all started because she decided to take a courageous step and do something that was not comfortable or familiar to her. It was hard. You know what I'm saying? It cost her something. But the reward far outweighs the cost, and we will never know that if we are dead set on having this comfort life. We live in a society that we want everything to feel good. And I'm not saying or glorifying the hard path, but what I am saying is, as you are navigating the significant life that God has designed for you to live, the life of leadership, the life of legacy, the life where you are aligned, your vision, your values, and your actions, so that you can have a fully alive, genuine, authentic, not counterfeit experience of vigor and strength and vitality in every aspect of your life. It is going to cost you something. It won't always be comfortable. It won't always be familiar, and it will be risky, but it is always worth it when you're moving at the pace of God's divine grace for your life. So my question today is, where in your life are you not experiencing God's best for your life? Where? Where are you just kind of doing what you know to do? And you may have even said, it's working for me, but you know it ain't God's best for you. Where is that place in your life? Because that place, I guarantee you, is a place where the Lord is inviting you to go deeper in Him. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about the Significant Life community and offer you an opportunity to just talk with me to see how I can support you and how the community can support you into uncovering and enjoying this next level of your significant life experience, so you can break out of the comfort life that ain't really comfortable and step boldly into that life of passion, purpose, and fully alive, that life of prosperity that God designed for you, that life of strength and resilience and grace. And that's what we have here. That's what we experience in a Significant Life community. And we're not just talking about these principles. Yes, I expose them. But the same way that I share with you today, we walk deeper and we explore where are the places where we need to heal. What is the Lord revealing that needs some healing and some attention? Where are the places where we need to strengthen our skills or develop new skills so that we can fully live the life that He promised us in every aspect, not just in the thing that we're already good at? Because that's the thing about divine grace. It's not where you're good at. It's doing what you can't do. Your marriage is failing. You ain't got no grace there. You need divine grace there. You struggling with your kids? You need divine grace there. Your business has hit a plateau. You need divine grace there. Where in your life are you not experiencing God's absolute best for you? I'd love to support you in your significant life journey. I love to support you in unlocking what needs to be unlocked, exposing what needs to be destroyed and dealt with, and helping to be a conduit for your healing and your next level so that you can walk in divine authority and divine grace. If that's that's what you need, then I'd love for you to comment "fight back" in the comments below, and we're going to call together. As we close out our time together, remember this: breaking free from the soft life isn't just a choice. It's not just a choice. It's a declaration that I am ready to live God's best for my life. You are already equipped. Now it's time to get activated and empowered to do that which God has called you to do. So let's continue to fight back, ladies. Step out of our comfort zone in the land of familiarity and step fully and powerfully into the significant life I was designed to live. Until next time, be bold and stay anchored in your significant life journey. Talk to you later. Okay, I see that you're here. If you want to say something, say something. Why do I have to be this way? Hey. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce your name, Talis, but if you're here and you have questions, comments, or thoughts, I would love to answer them. And if you watch on the replay and you have questions, comments, or thoughts, go ahead and let me know. I want to support you, but hey, you're absolutely welcome. You're absolutely welcome. I wish I could pronounce your name better. This person right here. Hey there. Awesome. I'm glad that it supported you. Awesome. All right. Look forward to talking to you. So listen. I love this comment here. I didn't realize I've done this to myself many times. Let me bring it to the screen. Didn't realize I brought this to myself many times. Over my life, those agreements, and I thought I was protecting myself, but actually I was hindering. That is absolutely true. All right. Talk to you all later. Until next time. Bye-bye.